welcome to another episode of the Talking Capybara. And today I realized something about how I want the podcast will be about. I thought of talking about something religious since today is the feast of the Santo Nino, but then I realized I don't have the faculty, the repertoire to talk about something like that because I'm not really that devout. But so I realized that I'm going to talk about books. That the podcast will be about books instead and the things that I have read so far. And the first stop that I am going to discuss will be The Wedding People by Alison Espach. Recently, I just finished this book, and it is so much. What do you call this one? It's invigorating to read. It is something I should read, and people should read, I guess, because it talks about marriage, it talks about self-esteem, it talks about confidence, it talks about um purpose. Purpose. One's purpose in life, one's identity, and how we can be ourselves even if we are in a relationship. It's like a good read. It's a very good read for me. So the story is about Phoebe Stone. Phoebe is a professor, a despondent professor, and he is married to a guy that is very well established in life, a very successful person. He has everything with him, a good job, a good humor, a good look, and everything that Phoebe doesn't have. So she always thought that things will be okay even if she doesn't have a good job, or that she doesn't have a full-time job or a permanent job. But then just went awry for her. It all started when she had a miscarriage. So Phoebe and her husband were um married for a very long time, but they didn't have a child. And when she had a miscarriage for the first time, she thought that everything will be good, everything will be okay, and that sooner or later they will have a baby. And then the next miscarriages just hurt Phoebe so much, and she thought that doesn't have a purpose. She always believed that women should bear a child, and that is the calling for women to bear a child. And the fact that she cannot do it, and that she already suffered a lot of miscarriage, means that she doesn't have that capability, and that she is less of a woman. That's what I am getting from this book, actually. So she just thought that her husband would still be okay with that. To be fair, her husband actually said to her that it's okay that they don't have a baby and that they have been living together for years and they don't have someone with them, a kid with them, and things were just normal. So they were just going to do what um do what they're saying as a married couple, and just so think of adopting. Her husband was contemplating of that, but Phoebe, a woman that she is, she doesn't want to have or to undergo adoption process. She just want a baby of her own, someone of her blood. That's what she's thinking about. And then apparently her husband had an affair with one of their coworkers. A beautiful woman, a successful woman, someone who is cherished by all of their office mates, that she has a baby. Actually, the girl is also married, and that shaken things up for both of them. When Phoebe found out about the affair, she was so devastated. She questioned her worth, questioned how she looks like, how she is just a simple girl without any things unique about her. She always believed that things doesn't like or that people doesn't like her because she doesn't have much about her, and that's so sad about Phoebe's life at that time. And then eventually Phoebe and her husband went to a divorce. They got divorced. So Phoebe here, the funny thing is that the Phoebe has been so desolate of her life after the divorce that she thought of just ending her life. And what she did was commit suicide. She went to a very prestigious, luxurious hotel that she's been wanting to visit with her husband. And her husband was saying that this place is just so luxurious, is so expensive that they cannot afford it. Or that there is something more out there that is not so expensive than that hotel. And so Phoebe, after divorce, Phoebe thought of, okay, I want to go to this luxurious hotel and for one day, for one night, and then kill myself there, have a suicide. That luxurious hotel was actually in Newport, Rhode Island, according to the book. So the shocking thing is when she went to that luxurious hotel, she realized that there is a wedding to be hosted there for a week. A wedding week will happen, and it's ironic because Phoebe just got from a divorce, and that here she is walking into a luxurious hotel with the intention of killing herself and then end up being with the wedding people. That's actually the reason why I think why it is called the wedding people, why the book is called the wedding people. And she met the bride, and her name was Lila. Lila is a young woman who is very confident. I can say that she is a very confident woman. She has her things decided. She has plans. I could decipher that from how she plans the wedding. The every details of the wedding were carefully planned by Lila. And so she is like the contrary of Phoebe. Phoebe is desolate, Lila is not. Phoebe doesn't have plans with her life, while Lila has a lot of things planned out for her. Okay. But then she found Lila entangled with in a journey of self-discovery. Because Lila feels like she's too young to get married. But then she has this idea that she has to get married because that is the dying wish of her father, and that everything was paid for by the funds of her father. So She feels like things have to be well spent, and she should have a grand wedding. But the problem also is that Leela cannot or is having second thoughts about her. The groom is a doctor and is also someone who is accomplished in his profession. He has a daughter from his previous marriage. The Her ex-wife was actually deceased. She died because of cancer, and that Leela, that she cannot compete with the dead, and that everything about her and her relationship with her groom is something so problematic, because apparently the kid of that doctor of her groom doesn't want her or don't like her. So, yun. And then the bride Lila found out that Phoebe wanted to end her life there at that very hotel where she will be um, doing the wedding. So she was so devastated, and then she was like, "No, you should not die here because it will apparently mess up her wedding. She doesn't want that." Phoebe thinks that Leila is selfish and that she is always just thinking about herself. And so Leila just like, okay, then fine, then die. Whatever you want to do with your life, do it. Be it that the night of her first day in that hotel, drank a cat. If I'm not mistaken, that is a cat medicine. She thought of killing herself with the cat medicine. She drank a lot, but when things were about to, or when she felt like she's going to die, saw the wedding people having fun, and she realized hmm, that I shouldn't be like that. She should have a life, and that she should also enjoy whatever it is that is left of her. So she decided to vomit whatever she had taken and then start to live a life. The next day, Leela was so happy to see her well and alive. And that was the start of Phoebe's journey towards self confidence, towards her having the time of her life. So that day, apparently, Phoebe went to this bathtub in the hopes of nailing someone, and she met this handsome guy and asked him for a night out. Apparently, this guy is the groom. So that's when the funny thing started. Phoebe found herself in love with the groom, while Leela found herself wanting the best man. And then what the best thing about the situation, um, or how the relationship of Phoebe and Lila went, is that Phoebe found herself becoming the bride's confidant. Everything that that Lila talks about, or every emotion that Lila feels, and every single doubts Lila have, she would talk about it to Phoebe. and Phoebe accidentally became the maid of honor because she has become deeply involved with the wedding people. And what's so nice also is that at the end, Leela became a person who is not only confident about herself, but also she became someone who wants to get or achieve whatever it is that she wants. She stopped being a people person and started making her own life decisions. And Phoebe became one of the reasons why Leela chose herself at the very end. To give you a spoiler, I'm so sorry, but the wedding actually did not happen because Leela became a runaway bride, and it was also something that Phoebe wanted to portray to her, wanted to also embody to her, that she wants to be like Leela, someone free. Wow, that music, that was such a blast. Okay, so Phoebe wanted to be someone who knows and confident about herself. The book actually uses sharp dialogues and comedic situations to tackle something serious, and those are depression, divorce, and finding purpose. I know these three are some of the biggest challenges that people in day-to-day living experience. And the book, The Wedding People, talks about these three in the lightest thing or through the lightest words possible. And I think that's the magic that the author used in this book. So it's like telling us that yes, you can be depressed, yes, you could go through a divorce, yes, you can be lost at the age of 40 or 30 or 50, and that is okay, and that things um will turn out for the better, even if that's the case. You should just be confident about yourself. You just have to set things right, and you just have to think about your goals. And I think that is something that we have to also use in our day to day living. We should get back up when we fell down, and that prove to people that one mistake, one sad event in our life will be it will not define who we are, and we could be someone so strong that we would not even realize that there are a lot of hardships that we have already been triumphant of. The book also talked about unexpected connections, so it highlights how chance encounters with imperfect people can lead to profound personal growth and new beginnings. Now, this one is something I like because apparently there is no perfect person. Leela here is a happy bride, a beautiful bride to be, but then she's not perfect. She would seem perfect to others because she is good looking, but then there's just something with her in her that is different. And the book saw or made us saw it, made me saw it because I was the one who read it. I'm so sorry. So made me see it that yes, good looking people also have things to that are think differently or have imperfect thoughts, imperfect actions, and that made them completely normal. I realized that imperfections made us normal, and that's good. Uh, and lastly, the book talks about identity and purpose. The story explores what it means to find oneself and build a meaningful life outside of societal expectations, especially around marriage and family. This is actually something a taboo because here in the Philippines, we are put together. We are expected to be put together as a family. We are expected to stay in a marriage. We don't have a divorce. Whenever things get um shady, we have to choose family always. And that's what the book made me realize that aside from choosing family, or even if you choose family, you should have your own identity. You should not let go of your personal beliefs, personal endeavors, just because you are married. You shouldn't do that. You should be your own individual and you should embrace that individuality no matter what. And when it comes to family, it's not always all the time that you have to heed what they like, just like Lila. You also have to have a decision of your own. And that would be the start of you controlling your life. You shouldn't let anyone control what it is that you want your life to be. Apparently, you should be the captain of your ship. That's what the book is all about. And as someone like me who will be turning 30, I'm going to repeat this one because I am making this podcast because I'm turning 30. So as someone who is turning 30 already, I realized that sooner or later I will get married, I will build my own family, and that it is not an excuse for me to not take care of myself and not to focus also on my dreams. I guess I can be a wife, I can be a mother, but I also have to maintain my individuality. That I should not be dependent on someone. And I should be strong and I should live and I should do whatever it is that makes me happy. As long as it is all legal and that my family are not hurting. And I also realized then um that as someone who has a boyfriend whose family are not really that fan of, I should take a stand and defend him and make people realize that he is the best for me. Well, apparently he is. I have never been happy. I have never been well taken care of and cherished like this, and I owe it to Genems. So I think those are the realizations I had with the wedding people. And to sum up today's episode of the Talking Capybara, I would like to just leave a message that in life we will experience defeat, we will experience sadness, but we owe it to ourselves not to be swallowed by the sadness. We owe it to ourselves to stand up, to make realize that there is so much to us than those hardships, than those failures, than those um expectations that we failed. We are more than that. Go alone. then, of course, carpe diem. And that is all for the second episode of the Talking Capybara. See you again.